Hello students, today we're going to talk about how we're going to go into the section about civil duties such as voting and things that come along with voting in West Virginia and at the national level, and how West Virginia has influenced elections in the past. Now, I have two sources for you, one from Washington Post, which keeps up with all the elections that happened in West Virginia, which include the national and state and local elections, a little bit local, not much, more like the Charleston areas, Morgantown and Huntington, the big cities. Now, I also have an interview from a voter who has been voting in this state for over 20-something years, so it's kind of cool to get into somebody's mind like that, knowing how it makes them feel about voting. So first off, we'll go with the interview and look at his answers. It says, what steps do I have to go to participate in the vote in West Virginia? And he said, I go to the polls in my district to vote. It's that easy. Once you turn 18 and you become the legal voting age, you can go to these polls and you can vote for the person that you think should be running our country or running our state or representing you in the best way possible. Now, the second question was, do you feel it's your civic duty to vote, or who will be representing you in the government? And he said, I do not feel like it's my civic duty, I think it's my right to vote. So he took the route where it says it is his right to vote, it's not his duty to. And that's why the Constitution was enacted. People had the right to choose if they wanted to vote, the right to choose if they wanted to participate in the government. It's a free country. Freedom of religion, freedom of press, and freedom of everything. So that constitutes in the law, of course. So the third question I asked him is, when it comes to voting, where do you think your vote counts the most? And he said a little bit of a weird response, but it's kind of accurate at the same time. It says, I have never believed that my single vote counts. However, if everyone believes that and doesn't continue to vote, or doesn't vote, then it shouldn't matter. Now, based on this theory, as he goes on to say, based on this theory, this is why people should vote. In the grand scheme of votes, one vote doesn't make a difference, but as a group it does. So, as a group of American citizens, we need to believe that our vote counts, because in the end, it does count as a group. Your singular vote maybe doesn't count on the national level, but as a group, and as a state like West Virginia, we do matter in the Electoral College, not as much as people think we do, but we do. We put more votes for a president than other states do, but we still put them to the test with our votes. So now that we're done with the interview, I want to look a little bit at the stats. So Washington Post has a great article that is up to date with everything that's happened in these recent elections. Now, in the last election for president, it was between Trump and Hillary. West Virginia voted with the popular vote, which is the number of votes everybody voted. 486,000 voted for Trump, and then 187,000 voted for Hillary. Now, every county in West Virginia is red as well. Now, where that 187 popular vote comes from is mostly where the big cities are. Has been known around the whole country that when people move into the city, not when people move into the city, people in the city more likely to vote Democrat and stuff like that. So here I saw an interesting quote on this article. It says, voters in West Virginia have picked the winning candidate in election cycle since 1972. In 2012, they voted for the percent of the vote. Below, look at the winner and margin of the victory in each state which candidates win the election. So for the past 30 years, we have been on the winning side of the vote. And people think in West Virginia our vote doesn't count that much, but we have been picking the winner of every single election since 1972. So I just thought that was a pretty good fact about how how it affects West Virginia, because a lot of people think, we're a small state, we only got a million people in it, but at the same time, we are on the winning side every time. So the way we think as a state kind of mirrors what other states and others, like people in the country, think. So to get to where I'm trying to get to is voting is a big part of being an American citizen. It isn't your civic duty. It is a civic duty, but it isn't your civic duty if you don't want it to be. It can be your right to vote. If you don't want to vote, you don't have to vote. But at the same time, it's a good thing to vote because that makes the democracy work. And they want you to put people that you want representing you in the government. And just all around, this is just an introductory to get you guys started on this, maybe get you a little excited for our section. And I'm going to give you 3 vocab words below this, and also on a sheet of paper in class. And I will give you both of the articles in class on a piece of paper so you guys can look at the interview I gave and look at the article in the Washington Post in case maybe in the future when you turn 18 you'd want to look at like the election and how it's going and who are we voting for and everything like that. So students, we have a good section on this. I hope we learn a lot about how West Virginia affects the voting process and how you are affected in the future by this voting process. Thank you.